Well, that's one of the worst games of hockey I think I've ever watched. Undeniably. From the Blues side of things, from the Leafs side of things. You found a way out of it, and you got a win here tonight against the Blues. You avoid a 6-game losing streak, which I can't even begin to imagine the state that the Leafs Nation After Dark chat and show would have been in, let alone Leafs fans and Leafs media and talk radio across Toronto for the next few days. Going into Thursday's game, had they lost this one here tonight, I know they narrowly escaped it. It's not like this was some exciting one to be able to break it and break the streak and get away from it, continuing, but 6 games is a lot different than losing 5 in a row and losing 6 and having the 6 be against the St. Louis Blues and having it come the way that it was headed towards the end of the second period into the third period, again, would have felt a whole lot worse because all that goodwill that you felt like you built up in the first period and then partway through the second period, essentially until the Jake McCabe penalty, would have felt like it was just thrown out the window because you started strong and it looked like you were doing the right things. Aside from the William Nylander self-own, where I can't even begin to justify, like a lot of times you watch a guy make a mistake and you're like, or like score on his own net or turn the puck over and you're like, okay, I at least know what he was trying to do. Maybe he shouldn't have been trying to do that, but the idea was there. The concept was there. The execution wasn't. I can't even begin to imagine what was going through William Nylander's head to like think that batting that puck out of the air at his own net was a good idea, let alone the right one. Regardless, the rest of the first period, it's like you're doing the right things. You're watching guys like Easton Cowan, Bobby McMahon, Nick Robertson, Jacob Quillan out there, and all of a sudden you're watching these guys and it's like, okay, they got a little bit of life here. They've got some energy to them. They're moving their feet. Even Steven Lorentz buying into it a little bit there where you could kind of see, hey, these guys are going. Even Troy Stecher, you could feel it coming from them. Like, think about the names I just threw out there, by the way, but you could feel those guys contributing where it's like, hey, they're bringing a little bit of life to the game, to the offense, to breakouts and the transition. And, a lot of stuff has to be cleaned up here still. There's still those stupid mental mistakes that are going on. There's breakdowns that are happening. But, in between those breakdowns, you could kind of tell like, okay, there's some life. There's some jump. There's some energy that's going on with this team. And then that Jake McCabe penalty happened in the second period, the one that leads to the first goal for the St. Louis Blues, the first power play goal, that is, for the St. Louis Blues. And all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh. And then the Leafs come back after that penalty and after that penalty kill where St. Louis capitalizes on great pass from Robert Thomas cross ice to Dvorsky and kind of takes advantage of Steven Lorentz giving his stick off to Simon Benoit, not being able to have his stick in the lane, goes across to Dvorsky. He scores backdoor on the one-timer, and it's like, okay, how are you going to respond from this? And then they don't. Like, there was, like, no response from that. It felt like all of a sudden it just went flat again, where, like, the air was taken out of the building, and it was taken out of the bench as well. That point in the game, I'm like, uh-oh, these guys are fucked again. And it kind of continued on through the third period, where as the third period went on, you're like, this thing is, if it hasn't yet slipped away, it is rapidly slipping away here right now. And this thing might get out of hand. We might lose control of this one here. But the Leafs find a way to get it done in overtime. A beautiful play by William Nylander to capitalize on that, and just an incredible effort and heads-up play by John Tavares to get things started. Into the corner, John Tavares goes 1-on-3, which, again, like, this goes to show you what level the Blues are at this season, but 1-on-3 in the corner. He's just outweighting the Blues. Morgan Rielly comes in for support. JT kicks that thing out of the pile. Again, only 1-on-2, two guys in there, third guy supporting for St. Louis. JT kicks it out of the pile to Morgan Rielly, hits William Nylander coming in, a nasty little backhand toe drag in, and then outweights Jordan Binnington, makes a move to his backhand, and then tucks it around him into the empty net, short side. Beautiful goal by William Nylander, but I mean, like, everything in between, this was one of the ugliest games I've seen, not just this year, but probably of the last 10 years of this Leafs team. Like, that is one of the grossest games of hockey ever between what the Maple Leafs put forth tonight and what the St. Louis Blues did. There's a lot to get into from both sides, and I see things being said in the chat, and it's like some people want to find ways to be overly positive, some people want to find ways to be overly negative. In some respects, I get it both ways, but I think tonight I'm going to play middleman, and I'm going to go back and forth on this and say I've learned fucking nothing from this game. At the end of the day, it's nice to be able to snap that losing streak, and there are some positives, and there are some significant negatives here. So, tonight's show is a presentation, as always, of Bet365. I'm Zack Phillips. We're going to continue to break down game number 20 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they defeat the St. Louis Blues in overtime here tonight, 3-2. We'll get into our grade of the game, our play of the game, our best bet in all of this, and we will take some calls here tonight on the postgame show as well. Before we can continue, just a quick reminder to people. Over the last couple of shows, we have raised a lot of money right here on this channel for Sick Kids Hospital, the Sick Kids charity. You guys get those donations in. You want to get your super chats in. Get your super chats in now. Your comments and your questions will be read on the show. Proceeds from your super chats will go to Sick Kids charity. So you want a question, a comment, whatever, sent in, read on the show here. I will read them all. I will answer them all. I will break it all down. So send in your super chats. But before I go further, let's start with the negativity. Actually, before the negativity, one more positive thing. Scatterbrain kind of like the game here tonight. Like the stream. Subscribe to the channel. We're working on 20,000 subscribers right here on the Leaf Station YouTube channel. Liking the stream, commenting, sharing this with your friends. It helps the show. It helps the channel. So get it out there. Send this around to everybody you know. If people want to watch, if they want to be upset, if they need therapy sessions, whatever it may be, you can find it right here on the Leafs Nation After Dark channel, After Dark show, or you can find it here for the Leafs Nation 401 YouTube channel and break things down every day, Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time for Leafs Morning Take. Now let's get into the negativity and some of the positives. So this is the one thing I keep seeing kicked around in the chat. And in a lot of ways, people are right. And I can't poo-poo this too much. But then there's also the other people bringing up the other side. So again, for this one, like, my main takeaway is I've learned fucking nothing. This game doesn't matter. I'm glad that it doesn't extend to 6 straight losses. Outside of that, there's just some positives and negatives. The win doesn't matter. Who you played, it doesn't matter. So where I go to first, the chat. One of the most common things being sent in the chat here right now after this win against the Blues is, congrats, you beat a shitty team. Congrats, you beat the worst team in the league. Donnie does dishes. Just known troll. Like, if you're in the chat, don't get mad about it because he's nothing but a troll. That's what's happening here right now. There's nothing else positive for Donnie to add at this point other than to attempt the troll. But Donnie saying, I thought it was a good game for 2 bad teams, blah, blah, blah. That was one of the worst fucking hockey games ever. That game stunk. The Blues were terrible. The Leafs were terrible. It was a bad hockey game. A lot of times people come here to the postgame show, which is a Toronto postgame show. We're breaking down what happened for the Leafs, and I will rip on what the Leafs did in the game. And then I see a lot of times, fans from other teams How come you didn't give the Buffalo Sabres credit tonight? How come you didn't give Utah credit tonight? Or, I don't even know, Anaheim, San Jose, go down the list. If the Leafs play a different team, I mean, in years past, and they lose those games, or they get close, and they say, why don't, well, because a lot of times they're coming at it from the Leafs' perspective. And it's not that I'm not giving them flowers, I'm just focusing on how bad the Leafs played. I think St. Louis fans, and our friend in the chat, J-Roc, can likely confirm or deny, and you can let me know, but I think St. Louis fans would agree this was a atrocious hockey game from both parties, Leafs and Blues. Leafs started well, they fell off a cliff. Even when the Blues were making that one interesting down the stretch in the second period and into the third period, not pretty. Overtime, not pretty. Like nothing pretty for anybody. Ugly game. So, this is where I go with this. You can only play who's in front of you. We've played against shitty teams. We've played against mediocre teams. We've played against really good teams. You've just kind of played like shit in all of them, lost a lot of them, gotten lucky in a couple of them, and you're just puttering along. That's points-wise. Your actual play on the ice, as Brad Treliving alluded to earlier today, is probably less deserving than the points that you have right now. Like, this team probably doesn't even deserve the points that they have because of how poorly they've played. And some of the wins that they have, like the first one against the Montreal Canadiens to start this season. They did not deserve to win that game. There's games that they've gone to OT. They probably did not deserve to go to OT. You're just kind of floating around, not playing very well. So if you get an opportunity to go into a game, if you think you're a good team, which I think they're good enough to get to the playoffs, and I think that they've got to kind of figure out how to play as a team here and figure this out. I think that that's a capability of this group in terms of winning anything significant, getting past a round, let alone competing for a Stanley Cup, getting past a round. This group needs to drastically change the way that they're playing. I mean, getting rid of some mental mistakes and tightening things up on defense, I think is just good enough, especially in a mediocre Eastern Conference, to get you into a playoff position. I mean, even looking at it here tonight, like if you want to just jump on over to the NHL standings right now, currently the Maple Leafs are now with 20 points on the season. They are 1 point back of the Florida Panthers and 2 points back of the Lightning, the Islanders, the Blue Jackets, and the Senators, and 3 points back of the Montreal Canadiens. Like this is where the East is at right now. The Boston Bruins are 24 points. The Red Wings are 25. That's the first and the second place teams in the Atlantic Division. The Maple Leafs with 20 points are 4 and 5 points behind them respectively. And we've been talking about, the tankathon here on the postgame show. Like that's the state of this season in the Eastern Conference. So yeah, I think that they're a team that's able to get to the playoffs, especially if they tighten up some of this stupidity. Now, to continue on with the conversation here, where people are like, they barely beat a terrible team in the St. Louis Blues. You're right. It's true. As Jesse Burke says, you can only play the team in front of you. That's one part of it. The other part that I'm going to bring up is that there were a significant amount of regulars missing from the lineup. You saw some of them sitting up in the press box there tonight, but I mean, just to quickly run down a list for those who forgot right now, Anthony Stolarz, at least half, whether you want to call him 1A, 1B, 1-2, whatever, at least half of your goalie tandem right now. Stolarz missing. Matthews missing. That's your number one centerman, your captain. He's got $13.25 million that he's being paid. Even if he's not full 100% Auston Matthews, he's still a guy who could find a way to put up 40 in a season. He's out. Then you look at Matthew Knies, who was a late scratch. He's not playing right now. Scott Laughton, who's missed a significant amount of the season. He's not playing. Nick Waugh, also not playing here tonight. Brandon Carlo and Chris Tanev. That's your number one centerman, your number one left winger, your number three centerman, your number four centerman. So your center depth is just completely gone. Then you look at your defenseman. That's your number one right D, and probably just in general your number one D. Then you look at Brandon Carlo. It's probably not the guy that you're going to put that high up right now. I would say Oliver Ekman-Larsson is better than him, but he's playing on your second pairing. So you look at these pieces who aren't playing, regardless of if the team was playing well with them or not, those are all everyday NHLers that play significant minutes every single night that just weren't playing in this lineup. Like, there were so many guys that were missing going into this game. So when you say, well, that was a shitty team, as J-Roc says, you were missing half of your roster, and J-Roc, a Blues fan. I have one of my starters missing, and that's Jake Neighbors. So I think my team takes the Ass Hats of the Night award. And I know, again, Donnie's saying they were losing with them. Yeah, they were losing with them. But the point is, what the fuck is the argument that's going to be made here one way or the other, where it's like, well, the Blues stink, and then it's like, okay, well, they were also missing all these guys. Well, they were losing with them. Like, yes, those guys are still better hockey players for the most part than what you have here. And at bare minimum, it's just a matter of depth through the lineup. Like, again, as we talked about, Max Domi plays 2C here tonight. I thought he was fine. I thought he brought a ton of energy, but A, you don't want Max Domi playing center at all, and B, you don't want Max Domi playing on your second line, let alone second line center. And he steps up to the occasion. He rises to the occasion tonight against St. Louis. Like, it's not like he blew the Blues out of the water, and I sat here going, holy shit, did everyone see what Max Domi did? He was the hero, blah, blah, blah. But guys stepped up. Guys found a way to get this win tonight. Like, you had to find a way to snap this losing streak, and you did. I can't begin to pretend that this was a good game. Like, we would all be lying to ourselves if that was the conclusion that we took away from this, and to say, hey, they're on the right track. I think some of it is they just got lucky, that this kind of went the right way, and that the Blues came in here with this depleted roster, because if you look at some of the opportunities that they gave up, if you look at some of the matchups that could have been taken advantage of, if you looked at how the second and the third periods went, yeah, there's some significant spots there that teams that are better than the St. Louis Blues would have taken advantage of, and would have not even let the Maple Leafs get to an overtime here tonight. Like, that thing would have been snuffed out, taken advantage of, and we would have been walking away from here talking about 6 straight losses. But you're not. You got the 2 points. We talked about it being a must-win. They won. Mud193 says, Zach, how different would this postgame have been if they lost again? Reality is, I don't think it would have been that much different, because like, it would have been different. We would have been talking about 6 straight losses, but I think the direction that we would have been talking here is, do you just call this a season and shut it down? Because you've got all these guys who are up in the stands who aren't playing, and then you're going to now talk about, okay, 6 straight. Can you even find a way? Because nobody really is coming back on Thursday, blah, blah, blah. And that would have been the direction. Who can you get in here? Who can you let have an opportunity? Who can you expose to the NHL level and see what you've got in them? So it would have been different that way, but it's not like a yelling and screaming and freaking out post-game show. It just wouldn't have been. Let's go into some of the positives tonight, because we kind of went back and forth there with, like, here's who you played, here's who you were missing, and just my thoughts on just like the general state of the game. So let's go to positives. First, on the positive side of things, like, he wasn't spectacular tonight, but Jacob Quillan. Jacob Quillan, and to preface this, my expectation for the game, as I kind of brought up in the pregame video that I put out here on the channel earlier in the day, which hopefully people were watching, liking, commenting, subscribing to. But Jacob Quillan and the guys who were stepping up into these spots, like Easton Cowan, who's going to be playing a bigger role, Sammy Blais, who drew back in here tonight with the announcement of Matthew Knies being out right before the game, Troy Stecher, who plays in this one. I just wanted to see these guys bring energy. One of the biggest knocks that I've had on them, and one of the things that I think is causing them serious problems right now, as much as people, may want to kind of play it off and say, well, that's not a real thing. That's not something that actually matters or takes a toll or something you should be worried about. But these guys don't look like they're having fun. If we talk to Tyler Yaremchuk or Liam over there at Oilers Nation or Aaron Bordato, and we talk to them about how it's going for the Edmonton Oilers right now, who, as Donnie points out, the Maple Leafs only have 6 wins in regulation or whatever it is. Edmonton's basically in the same boat when it comes to wins and wins in regulation, and they're floundering too. But we also know that's a really good team with some of the best players in the world. And I think the general takeaway between both right now that we're seeing, and I was watching the Edmonton game the other night against the Buffalo Sabres, is it just doesn't look like anybody's enjoying themselves. And I know that it's a tough season right now, and where you're at with 9-9-2, you're literally dead 500 when it comes to like wins, losses, ties, technically, because you go to overtime, you get 1. Obviously, it's 2 losses, but it's just like nobody's enjoying themselves. Everybody seems like they're got this gray cloud over them. Everybody's going to the rink with their heads down and just not excited to be there, not excited to play. And again, I understand what is going on around them, and I understand the criticism. We're a part of it. I'm a part of it here on the Leafs Nation After Dark and the Leafs Nation 401 YouTube channel. I think deservedly so, but there's no enjoyment. And when you watch the games, it feels like there's no energy. There's no enthusiasm towards things. Like, you have to kind of find a way to bring some type of energy to it. Otherwise, the ball of miserableness just continues to roll. And I know that there's going to be people in the chat like 6 1/3 who hear something like that and they're like, well, why don't you be positive then? It's because we're here to analyze the game and what happened and the reality of the team and the season. It's up to them to figure their own shit out and deal with stuff internally. Like, we're going to keep breaking things down. We're not going to go hold hands and sing Kumbaya and all stand around in a circle and dance around and be happy because we're like, oh, it's okay, you lost games. We'll keep it moving. Hopefully everybody in the room is happy. We don't want to be the reason they lose. But regardless, you got to find a way to be in that room and tune things out and to come positively and to bring some type of energy. It's a job, and you have to come in there winning. You have to come in there and get ready to attack the day every single day. Right now, it just feels like they have so much that's just blocking them from that. So seeing these new guys come in, back to kind of Quillan who jumps in here and that positive, my expectation was like, let's bring some energy, let's bring a different approach, let's be excited about playing. Here's a kid who's going to get an opportunity. Here's a guy who's going to be able to get maybe a little bit of a runway here in the NHL. Matthews isn't going to play Thursday. Nick Waugh is going to be out for a while. We don't know how close Laughton is to returning. Knies obviously ends up leaving here just before the game today and doesn't play in this one. So you look at those spots opening up and maybe you start to think to yourself, hey, here's an opportunity for me to prove that I'm an NHLer. Here's an opportunity for me to prove that I deserve to be here. Jacob Quillan has had an amazing start this year with the Marlies. He was a great college player. The Leafs took him out of Quinnipiac after he beat Matthew Knies in the NCAA championship game. So you're looking at this guy who's 23 years old. He's figuring out how to be a professional. He's got 14 points in 14 games with the Toronto Marlies this season. Bring some energy. And that's exactly what he did. From the opening shift down to the third period, and Mike Johnson was talking about him glowingly on the broadcast. Jacob Quillan isn't going to wow you with a box score here tonight. He ends up walking away from this one with +1. He plays 9 minutes of time on ice. That's the second least of anybody on the Maple Leafs. The least is still Sammy Blais, who, no surprise there with that one. But Jacob Quillan, I thought, had himself a good night. The 9 minutes he played, I thought that he was effective. I thought he moved his feet well. I thought he was hard on the forecheck. You could tell that he had a good head on his shoulders and had some maturity when it came to puck control and possession, which was nice. Early in the first period, the puck goes in the corner. You see him immediately in there, hard in on the forecheck, smashes into whoever it was, the defenseman for the Blues that was back there to play the puck. Like, you could feel that kind of energy coming through. So, positive night for Quillan. I mean, there's not too much more for me to expand on. He did play some limited minutes here, so it's not like we have this massive body of work to be able to break down for the guy, but I thought he was good. I thought he made an impact, and like, this is a guy that I would like to see get some expanded opportunity. You have to learn through some of this, but, Jacob Quillan ends up finishing the night with 4 hits, a +1. He has no shots on goal, which, by the way, it's just before the Lorentz goal. Jacob Quillan gets in. He uses his speed to get him essentially what's like a half breakaway. He's got to shoot that puck. I don't know if it's just overthinking the situation. I don't know if it's looking over and seeing Morgan Rielly and be like, I've got to pass to him. Like, I'm the call up. That's a guy who's been here for a long time. I don't know if he's getting too fancy or just if that's something that's been working at the AHL level. But that pass that he's making, or trying to make, that is, to Morgan Rielly when he's basically on the breakaway, he can cut that out. I'm not going to get too harsh on the guy for that decision. It is what it is. You can only move on from here, but gets in on the half B-way, forces a pass across to Morgan Rielly. Unnecessary play, unnecessary pass. That's something he could have for sure shot or tried to make a move on Binnington in tight. Turns it over ultimately, but, opportunity that could have been a shot for Jacob Quillan on what was an otherwise good night for Quillan, who steps into this. Other positives to come away from this one. Easton Cowan, again, I thought looked really, really good. Gets an opportunity with the first power play unit, which I'm not even going to bother talking about the power play. Like, we'll touch on it a little bit, but it's not going to be something we'll dig into too much. They had some good opportunities, but I look at some of those, and Cowan on that first unit looks confident with the puck. He looks comfortable making plays. I look at the Yarncroke play that he gets in tight in the first period where he rings it off the bar. It's Easton Cowan down low. He's got his back towards the net, back towards Yarncroke effectively. He's kind of looking towards the corner, and he makes a no-look backhand pass through his legs to Yarncroke, who's able to kind of one-time that one in motion that hits the crossbar and gets up over the crossbar and up and out of play. Or actually, that one stays in on that one, but that pass to Yarncroke comes into him, rips it off the bar, stays in. It's a good chance. Then you look at him shortly after that. Leafs hold the zone. There's a couple good opportunities. Cowan gets the puck back. He's kind of down towards the line, and JT tries to hit him. It goes to his backhand, so he can't really get the one-timer off as he's kind of looking into somewhat of an empty cage. And rather than panicking because he's too far away and on too low of an angle, he grabs it, regroups, and turns and passes to William Nylander, who then gets a great shot himself from up high. It gets deflected up and out of play on that one, but it's a little bit of that maturity that you're seeing out of a guy like Cowan, where he can make those plays where it's not just get it off my stick, try to take a shot because, hey, I can see somewhat of an empty net, and he's rushing through plays. There is a little bit more maturity than what we saw in game 1 of this season, even dating back to preseason last year and preseason this year. Like, you're seeing growth out of the guy. Unfortunate set of circumstances for him to get this opportunity, but you look at some of these big boys that are missing from the lineup right now. You're now seeing him play a lot of minutes a night, and he's taking advantage of it. Like, he's looking pretty good in those opportunities that he's getting. And I know that one of the sides of the argument, and I completely understand, is keep Cowan away from the negativity. I get that, and there's like a part of my brain that also thinks that way as well. But if you can expose Easton Cowan to meaningful NHL minutes where he's playing in a tie game late in the third period, regardless if it's the St. Louis Blues, the Florida Panthers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Colorado Avalanche, I don't give a fuck. At this point, Easton Cowan is going to be a guy you're going to have to play there because you don't have other options. You can't look at Auston Matthews and say, you got to go. You're not going to look at Sammy Blais, Steven Lorentz, Dakota Joshua at this point in time and say, you got to go. You're giving that opportunity to Easton Cowan. He's getting those chances. He's looking pretty good in them. There's mistakes being made, for sure. I think some of that is just youngness, youthfulness, learning lessons. Great way to refer back to that. Some immaturity, and not to say like he's an immature player. It's just you're learning how to play at the pro level, and he's going straight from effectively junior to the NHL, like skipping entirely that learning curve where he could be a pro at the AHL level. So Easton Cowan's getting chances, he's getting opportunities, and right now I think he looks good and he deserves the chances that he's getting. And I'm real happy with the development that we've seen so far through 20 games. Youngness always gets in the way. Yeah, producer Vic give me shit for youngness there as well. Struggling with words on that one. I was on a roll, I felt, talking about Cowan and how happy I was with his play and the positives that came out of it. And then all of a sudden I throw youngness. You hate to see it. I see here, Ikis 80. Easton had some real soft plays tonight. He made a couple of mistakes. There was the one on Sundqvist in the corner in the third period where it's a turnover that he had that I think he would want back. But again, like, he battled for the puck back. He's not a kid that's just out there to skill it up. He's not a kid that's out there just to, try to get his points and make something happen offensively and get the fuck out of the way. He's a guy who engages offensively. He's a guy who engages with physicality. He's not afraid to get in on the forecheck, take a hit, give a hit. I thought that Easton Cowan looked pretty good here tonight. I think he's making the most of his minutes, and I've been impressed with his development to start this season. I see people asking, so I'm going to send the call-in link here in the chat. If you want to call in, click on that link. What else do we have? Other positives for the night here. Other positive is Joseph Woll. Joseph Woll, I thought looked good, not great, against the Blackhawks on Saturday night. He's not the reason they lost at all. That's the team in front of him not playing that great. Still finishes that night with a .906 save percentage, lets in 3 goals. I think it was on 35 shots, I believe Chicago finished that one with. So still a pretty solid night for Joseph Woll. Then you look at here tonight, 29 shots against, 2 goals against, a .931 save percentage for Joseph Woll in this one. I thought he made some real big, important saves. I thought that he looked calm, which I think is a real important aspect for your goaltender back there, when a lot of times you're looking back at these guys and kind of feeling like there's an element of panic from the team to the goaltender, like from the forwards to the defense to the goaltender. And we talked about trust. We talked about, can the forwards trust the defense? If sometimes it feels like they don't trust those guys, so they're trying to make plays for them. Then you feel like the defense don't trust the goaltender because it feels like the goaltender's giving up a lot of weak ones. So as you go from one guy to the next, nobody trusts each other, so you're either trying to play somebody else's position or trying to cover someone else's spot or someone else's guy. You got yourself out of position. It can become a whole mess. If Joseph Woll can figure things out back there and play like this, I'm not saying he puts up a 9-3-1 every night, but if he can play like he's played, combining the last 2 nights that he's been in net for this Leafs team, that body of work, if he can compile that, put it together going forward, I feel like the rest of the group can start to have some confidence. We're gonna get to a special guest here in a second. Before we get to the guest, just kind of want to remind everybody, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401, right here on YouTube. As well, more and more people have been doing this, but I'm just going to remind people now as well. If you want to listen back after, or if you miss the video, you miss the live show, and you want to hear what's gone down on the Leafs Nation After Dark, maybe you're in the car the next day, or however it is that you want to consume things, you can do so on the Leafs Nation After Dark podcast feed, wherever you find your podcast. So make sure to head on over there. As I try to find something, because I need to figure out how I'm going to get this to work, because it seems like something is lost on my screen. There it is. I got it. All right. Let's welcome to the show, for the first time this season. He's somebody that you guys have asked for. He's somebody who rides the highs and the lows with me all season long. I talk to every day, and was giving me some shit earlier for being so down during that game and how bad the hockey was. Let's welcome to Leafs Nation After Dark, for the first time this season, producer Vic. Vic, how you feeling after this massive Leafs win tonight?
Fantastic. What a dub. Picasso. That was the best game of the season for me so far.
You're an idiot.
And I'm not kidding. That is, we've been asking for boring hockey. We got the boring hockey we've been looking for. And I know there were 7 regulars out of the lineup, and we got it from the depth, the grime, the dirt, the lineup I never want to see ever again. But we got the boring hockey, and that's what I was looking for the past 5 games, actually.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. I'm so happy with that game. You have no idea how happy I am.
Okay. Push back here on you. Do you not think they just got away with it because St. Louis is that bad? Like, I still feel like there was a lot that had to be fixed here that just didn't get exposed, because, like, there were some defensive breakdowns. There were some bad plays that took place that just weren't capitalized on because it was the St. Louis Blues, I think.
But who cares? Who cares? Look, this is another reason why, sorry, that today is the day that I joined, okay?
Okay.
I was in the chat during LMT today, and this fan base, God, and I know I'm guilty of it at times, just shut the fuck up, please. They are on a 4-game losing streak. They're missing how many players? And now they didn't win correctly. Like, fuck off. Give them a break. Let's get some positives in this. That's why it's so hard to play here. And I know we hear it a lot, and people want to say, "Oh, that's bullshit. It's harder to play for the New York Yankees or the Dallas Cowboys or blah blah blah." But this is it. It's just like they can't even win correctly. Give them a break. Let's take our 2 points. Everybody be happy for 2 fucking seconds. Are we fans of this team or not? Are you happy they won? Your viewership today is cut in half because they won. because this fan base can't fucking bitch and moan and whine and cry for fucking 5 seconds. God, just be happy for 2 fucking minutes. You saw Jacob Quillan, you saw Easton Cowan, you saw Troy Stecher. He played his first game in a Leaf uniform. He played well. You saw some puck movement. I know it was in the first and second period. They kind of let their foot off the gas. That's fine. Joseph Woll comes back from God knows where, and he puts up 2 of the best performances from a goaltender we've seen all season. And people still want to fucking bitch and complain because they didn't win correctly. God, just shut the fuck up and enjoy it.
Is that geared towards me as well? Because I see you've been in the chat here watching me.
A little bit. We got some youngness in the fucking lineup. Let's be happy.
What's the word I was supposed to use? Youthfulness?
Youth. Just youth. I think.
Just youth. Fine. Okay.
Auston out. You're 1C out. You're 1 LW out. You're 3C out. You're 4C out. You lose you have 3 of your top 4 centers on your roster at the start of the season out of the lineup, and you eke out a win with your AHL roster. Who Who the fuck cares how it happened? You're now sitting 2 points out of a playoff spot. Like, this is all, it's baby steps. Yeah, the start of the season has sucked. It's been garbage. And if we were, last year, we're battling for the division and you lose a game against the San Jose Sharks on a Tuesday night and you don't show up, yeah, be pissed off. Get angry. Hey, we're looking for this. But right now, we're not in that phase right now. We're a quarter of the way in. We're trying to make baby steps here. Little positives. Yeah, it hasn't been the start we wanted. But you got a fucking win and people are bitching still. Come on.
Vic, check and see if your mic is the one that's connected here. If it's potentially like a computer mic or something, check that quickly while you do that. Just a quick reminder to people, and then I'll read some of the chat. And I've got some calls here that I want to take from people. But if you haven't already, hit that like button. Every set of 50 likes here on the postgame show, 50, 100, 150, 200, whatever. We will do the smelling salts here on the postgame show as well. I'm trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. But Vic, people in the chat seem to be happy with your thoughts here. It seems like you've kind of turned some positivity. The viewership's starting to go up. I mean, here's some comments here. Donnie does dishes. See, Zach's the real troll, not me. I mean, here's a negative one. No, Donnie's the troll. Philip Vespa says, how about you shut the fuck up? You are making excuses. Chad Graham, 6482. I like this guy. This host is what's wrong with some Leafs fans. 6 1/3. The pure hater trolls are sad tonight. The losing streak is over. There's some positivity. Calvin, 63697 came for the rant. We got the rant. There you go. People are happy with your positivity, Vic.
I'm
Some
not
people
making
not so much.
excuses. I'm not making excuses for the poor play. That's not it at all. I'm saying if we're going to do this, every game is a must win. What do you say? How did you say it? 82 one-game seasons. Is that what you said?
That's what Merrick says, yeah.
Yeah, 82 one-game seasons. We do that, right? Well, they won this one. So just fucking enjoy it. Take a deep breath, relax, get a good night's sleep tonight, and you can bitch tomorrow. But enjoy it for fucking 2 hours, guys. I'm in the chat, and everybody's still upset about something. Oh, but this. Oh, but this. Oh, but that. Oh, but Domi. Oh, but he's not playing the position he's going to be playing 20 games from now. He's literally they're just trying to fight through 60 minutes, and it ended up being 63 and a half, and they got 2 points. Just fucking enjoy it, people. Please.
There is some positivity here now, Vic. You've changed the minds, I think, of Leafs Nation. I did bring that up, the Domi thing. Like, Domi, you look at this lineup, he's a guy that you want to be playing like your fourth line wing. And he's playing second line center. Like, you want him as far away from the center of the ice as possible. And now he's playing second line center. Like, that's not a position you want this guy in. It's just
honestly, ideally, I want Max Domi playing on another team. Okay, ideally, like, forget second line center. Brad Treliving wants to make these moves for, I don't know, not futures and not any of the guys we want to keep. So again, that's one of the guys he's probably looking to move. Ideally, he's not even on the team when we're in the playoffs. So everybody take a deep breath. 63 minutes it took, but yes, we beat the shitty St. Louis Blues, but we beat them.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to keep you on for this because I think this will be a good one to do. We have a caller here on the line, someone you're familiar with, someone I'm familiar with, someone we've never spoken to. I don't think you've ever spoken to in person. I mean, I guess this isn't in person, but it's as close as we may get for a while, foreseeable future. So let's welcome here to the show for the first time ever on the Leafs Nation After Dark, alongside Vic's first appearance of the season, the man, the myth, the legend, J-Roc. J-Roc, how's it going?
How you doing, guys?
We're doing good,
What's up,
man.
J-Roc?
Producer extraordinaire is right here.
Talk to us here tonight, J-Roc. You're the Blues fan. You're the one who knows more so what's going on with this team, the ins and the outs. But at the same time, you're somebody who's watching everything around the NHL, including the Maple Leafs and the Leafs Nation and Morning Cup of Hockey. So you're tracking everything that's happening. What did you think of this game here tonight?
I mean, the game could not be described any better than it was earlier. It was a trash game. It's a throwaway game for both teams. But, I mean, you're not here for the Blues perspective. If that would be Blues After Dark, which would be the correct acronym for this team right now. So it's just, I watch a lot of Leaf games, as many as I can. And when the NHL doesn't black me out. But I really follow the Leafs very closely. So I would claim them as my second team.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, that's a positive. Vic, you got any questions for J-Roc here?
Yes, from a St. Louis Blues perspective.
Vic, pause. Is Vic's audio off?
Oh no, am I gone
there we
now?
go. I got him.
Okay. From a St. Louis Blues perspective, J-Roc had a front row view of Craig Berube hoisting the Stanley Cup. So, J-Roc, when you hear fans turning on Craig Berube saying it's time to find a different coach, what does that do to you?
I mean, it wasn't time for us to find a new coach here in St. Louis. So, obviously, Montgomery being the pickup that we made afterwards is fantastic. But I do wish that Berube was still my coach.
There you go, Leafs fans. Somebody from
More
St. Louis.
positivity.
More positivity. The Leafs win. They get 2 points. They snap the streak. They're missing 35 fucking NHL players here tonight. And we've got Blues fans saying they still wish they had Craig Berube. So take that one and sleep with that at night tonight.
Look, he really does hold everyone accountable. He comes out in post-game pressers. He tells it like it is. And that's what you guys have been asking for a long time when it's not Babcock, because he's a nightmare. And he is the guy that led you guys to your first Atlantic Division title in forever, not counting the COVID bubble. And it's not always a beautiful style of hockey, but it is something that will take you far. And it's about patience, especially now, because you guys started the season being down two of your reliable starters. That does not put everyone in a good headspace. And to be honest with you, it's only been 6 weeks. It's been 6 weeks of the NHL season. It feels like a lifetime, but it's been 6 weeks. So
yeah,
everyone being discombobulated and losing as many people as you have had, it's not a surprise to be where you're at. So when it's 6 weeks from now, you'll have a better idea of what it's going to be. I don't think this team reaches its full form until probably right about the time for the Olympic break or after, just after. So the judging of what's happening right now on this team obviously is fair for what happens, microcosmically in each individual game. But the idea is the long game. You guys have been talking for 4 years about, it doesn't matter. It's always in the playoffs. Well, you're waiting for the playoffs. You'll be there. You will be there.
There you go. I think that's something Leafs fans can take away from this one here tonight. Maybe walk away and think, all right, he's on to something. We got the win here tonight. We're playing in the right direction. Maybe you look at the standings again and you think, we aren't that far away from second place, from first in the Atlantic. We go on a little heater. Maybe a couple other teams slow down, like the Montreal Canadiens, who haven't had the best stretch of hockey over the last little while. And next thing you know, you're right in the conversation again. J-Roc, with that, we'll let you go here. I appreciate you calling into the postgame show. You're welcome to call back at any time in the future. Sorry to hear about the fact that you're still missing Craig Berube. I think people in Toronto maybe not the most in love with him at the current moment in time, but that can all change if some things bounce our way and all of a sudden this team starts winning again. So thank you, as always, J-Roc, for calling in, and hopefully we get to hear from you again soon.
Thank you guys, and all the shows that you guys do. You do a great job. Thanks.
Thanks, J-Roc.
See you, J-Roc.
Appreciate it. There you go. All right, Vic, what else you got? You've been the voice of reason. Maybe not the voice of reason. That's maybe a little bit of a stretch. You've been the voice of positivity here on the post-game show tonight. Is there anything else you loved about this one? I came on here. I talked about Quillan. I talked about Cowan, and I talked about Woll. Yeah. Those are the three things that stood out to me positively in this game tonight. You know, specifically energy, life that they brought to the game. Obviously, Quillan here only plays 9.5 minutes in this one, but you look at a guy like Easton Cowan, 16.5 minutes. I thought he had some great plays, some great opportunities. And then, you know, even continuing to just look at Joseph Woll, as you said when you got on here, a .931 save percentage from the guy. Like, that's some of the best goaltending that you've gotten all season.
You know, I'm a big Woll guy, so obviously big positive for me. But I wanted to talk about Steven Lorentz and Sammy Blais and how that fourth line kind of has an identity when those two are playing together. I think when Scott Laughton comes back in, maybe you give him a crack, those three. Because, I don't know, I feel like he works.
Who's the three?
Sammy Blais, Steven Lorentz, Scott Laughton.
The only thing is, like, Sammy Blais in this game tonight, where you're missing all those guys. Do you want to? Yeah. Do you want to guess how many minutes he played? Did I say it? Did you hear me say
6? I think he got hurt. I think Nick was saying he got hurt though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Nick sent a little. But yeah, Nick sent a group text to the group chat. I think you're in that one. But he said that Sammy didn't play in the third. He was hobbling or something in the back when he saw him afterwards.
Oh, okay.
So we might have lost another one. But yeah, what did he play? 6 minutes?
Yeah, 6.5 minutes tonight.
6.5 minutes. Again, he had the great play stop up on the corner. The old Mitch Marner play, turn up at the half wall, but he made a great pass to the slot. Lorentz buried that thing. I feel like every time he's in there, he's at least. Like, we're looking for Berube hockey, guys that forecheck, guys that hit, guys that do something when they're not doing anything else. And I feel like he's a guy that's just always doing something.
And I mean, you know, it was kind of like what I saw from Quillan to start the game as well. Yeah, you know, like he jumps out there and all of a sudden it's like puck's in the corner. He's hard on the forecheck. You're hearing like glass rattle for the first time this season because it felt like he was the first guy who threw a fucking hit all year or was in on a forecheck. And then Sammy Blais kind of been. Fuck. Yeah, shoot the puck. That one, the pass off to where he tried to pass to Morgan Riley in the second period. That actually led to the Lorentz goal right after the fact. But,
exactly.
I got one more positive for you, and then I'm going to go to a little bit negative because I want to battle back and forth, and we'll do this quickly. But one more positive. There's not really too much to take away, but like Troy Stecher, I thought looked good. I think he's a guy that when you get guys healthy, Carlo, Tanev, coming back into this lineup, you can probably look to bump out Mermis. Myers can probably be waived, and then you get move things down through there. And then maybe you look at a competing spot between a guy like Stecher and a guy like Benoit, and maybe just who's going, who's figuring things out, and it creates some internal competition. So I think that was another positive. I'm going to give you a negative, and then I want to see if you kick back on this one before I let you go. I'm going to phrase it more as a statement than a thought. After tonight, I think I am more convinced than I was to start this season that Jake McCabe is cooked.
Oh.
The 2 penalties that he took in the second period, a little bit unlucky, but also avoidable. It really hurt the team in there. And then the 19 games that he played leading up to this one here tonight, he's not been that good. Feels like a step behind, feels like he's trying to do too much. I don't know if this is just age. I don't know if it's just a matter of the whole team taking a step back and him playing victim to it. I don't know if this is just a little blip, but after tonight's game, it felt more sure than ever that Jake McCabe has taken a serious step back.
I will push back a little bit because he isn't the same McCabe we saw last year. That's for damn sure. So I will agree with that. But I'm not ready to say that he's cooked. One, because you mentioned no one has looked really good this year. Nobody. I haven't seen anybody on this defense where I could say I'm proud that that guy is on my team. And that includes Chris Tanev. And being paired with Chris Tanev and then losing him and then being paired with this version of Simon Benoit, which, God, you want to talk about waving Philippe Myers? If Benoit keeps playing like this, God, I don't know how he doesn't see at least the press box for a couple nights. Having to carry that guy around right now has got to be tough. And on top of it, I don't think he's a 1D, and he's being played as a 1D. Like, you start overtime with Jake McCabe out there. He clearly has Berube's trust, and I still have hope for him when Tanev gets back that they find their form from last season. I don't want to say he's cooked yet, but I mean, it's not looking great. You're right.
The other thing, I guess, to your point is, I mean, you look at the minutes that are being played right now. Troy Stecher, 13.5. Dakota Mermis, 14.5. And then you go from 13.5 and 14.5 to 21 minutes for Simone Benoit, 21 minutes for Jake McCabe, 24.5 minutes for Ekman Larson, 24 minutes and 13 seconds for Morgan Rielly. It's a big workload that's being put on those guys right now.
All right. And I have been Mr. Positive. I do have one negative.
Okay.
On my way out out the door. What the fuck are we going to do with Matthias Micelli?
Yeah.
He's not very good.
Yeah.
And I'm being positive, so imagine how I really feel.
He's got his moments, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what was that? Why did you do that?
Yeah. And we've been calling him Micelli for the other reason, like the passing and the flipping pucks over the glass isn't going to help that.
Yeah. Well, Vic, thank you for calling in here. I appreciate you. First post-game show that you've jumped on. You know, you've got an open door. The link, it just sits in your inbox. So you click on that anytime. You're welcome to come here. But appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your night. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. because I'll be hosting Leafs Morning Take with you and Jay Rosehill.
And James Van Riemsdyk on Morning Cup of Hockey for all you Leaf fans if you want to get a peek at that. Thank you so much, Zach. Go Leafs, go. I'll see you soon.
Go Leafs, go. There you go. Producer Vic jumping on here on the post-game show. Giving his thoughts on this Leafs win here tonight, the state of the season. We haven't heard from him yet. 20 games into the year, we had not yet heard from producer Vic. Good to hear some positivity, though, I guess. You know, people in the chat are feeling that one. They're feeling good. Before we can go further, we did hit 50 likes here on the postgame show, so I'm going to do the smelling salts here. If we get to 100, I'll do those, and then I got some callers on the line. So we've got our guy JD from the chat. I'll get him up next, and we'll close out with Prague, and then we'll shut it down after that. We're not going to go 2 hours here tonight. That would be a little bit ridiculous. So we'll shut it down after JD and Prague, but I want to make sure that they can get on the show. JD has been sitting there waiting patiently, and I haven't heard from him. I think the last time we talked to JD on here and not just in the chat, things were in a dark place. And I'm not to say that, you know, we've found the light and we're climbing up above ground here right now, but we've at least opened things up, and it's not like we're just completely burying ourselves. So quickly here, smelling salts, as we did hit the 50 likes, and then a couple things I just want to quickly shout out in the chat, but thank you for these. There you go. There's the smelling salts. Also, super chats here that we do have. First super chat, this one comes in from Sweetie Pie. Thanks, Sweetie Pie, for the super chat. Sweetie Pie says, no rage bait, but Zach, you really don't know hockey, bro. All right. You got me. Also, super chat here from Ray W2U7P. I asked a girl out and got rejected. So embarrassed. Well, Ray, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so get back up on your feet and keep going. If the Maple Leafs could go to the first round and lose every year, and the coaches and the GMs will say, I believe in this group, then you can get back up on your feet and you can ask the next chick out. It'll be okay. With that said, let's now get to our next caller of the night. Let's welcome back to the show our good friend JD. JD, how's it going?
Not too bad, Zach. You got me, brother?
Yeah, I got you there. How you doing after this? How you doing after this Leafs win tonight? Although not the prettiest, it's 2 points on the board.
Well, better than last time I called in, definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say last time I think I said it before I brought you on here, but I think we were in a dark place as a fan base, not just you and me. I think it was a scary place that we were in.
Yeah, you melted down pretty hard the last episode we were on here. So
yeah.
I'm almost disappointed because I love to see your and Rosie's meltdowns when they happen. I'll take the positive with 2 points here today for sure. I don't have a lot to say today, but a little bit of pushback on your points.
Okay.
Although, I mean, let's face it, it wasn't an all-star game here tonight. It was pretty unorganized, pretty AHL-esque. I would say estimation of what, but look at the team though. Basically, it is almost an AHL team out there for one, and I mean it was a night of just a lot of weird bounces and stuff like that. Just a lot of chaos. It was. I mean, I think a lot of the guys that are still working on building up their confidence from a 5-game skid type thing. So honestly, I think we just got to give these guys a couple more games to kind of get their rhythm and get their confidence back and stuff. And I can see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, at least now, because at least today I saw like, it's like they put their big boy pants on a little bit. They were starting to buy in a little bit more to the system. They were starting to work a little bit more in the corners that you could at least see effort. Willie shooting the puck again. I mean, I just think there's a couple of positives that we could actually take out of this game, to be honest.
I think that's fair. I'm not going to fault you for that. I understand the pushback. I think for me, just coming into this one, like, overall play, I think I was going to have a hard time judging for whatever that's worth, just based on the fact that, as you kind of mentioned, like you're bringing a bunch of new guys in, right? And as you kind of pointed out, some AHL guys, some guys who aren't going to play in some of these positions or against some of these matchups going forward or some of these high leverage situations. So just not really entirely sure what to expect. But I would agree with you, to be honest, that I think that from the standpoint of the forecheck, moving your feet a little bit more, I felt like that stuff was there. You could start to feel, some of these guys being more engaged physically. It did feel like there was a bit more energy than usual through the first, the second period. It kind of felt like it tapered off, in my opinion, through the end of the second and into the third. But I honestly, JD, like, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair analysis on your behalf there.
Right. Yeah, what I found, I mean, just this is one of the few times in the last, say, month that I've actually sat and watched the whole game, that I wasn't working, I could focus. So it was nice in that aspect. The first period, I thought they were fairly solid. I mean, they held their game together. I think the big thing is they've been horrendous in the second for quite a while now. They've found a way to shit the bed almost every second. And this one, they really held in there. I thought it was one of their better second periods I've seen this year. The third period, you could see, they were letting off the gas a little bit. They were starting to slide a little bit. But I mean, once again, they found a way to hold on. They found a way to not do what they've done, the Leafy shit they always do. 2-3 minutes left in the game, they find a way to let a goal or two in. They're pulling the goalie, and they're losing the point in the last couple of minutes. They held on. They got to OT, and with the amazing work of JT, 1-on-3 on the boards, setting up Willie for the win. I mean, it was a gutsy effort by JT. Good finish by Willie. He needed that. So like I said, there's definitely those little glimmer of hope positives. I think they're kind of going in the right direction, a little bit better. And Woll, I mean, can't say enough about Woll positionally. He looked good positionally. He looked like he wasn't fighting it. He looked relaxed and comfortable. He didn't have to be overly acrobatic all the time to make the save, but when he needed to, he was on. I mean, he made two at least that I remember that were just incredible saves. And I think 50% of the reason why I won that game, we'd have to hang on Woll for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was a massive part of it. You know, I mean, Alberga did point out as well during that one. He's at the game. He pointed out to us, like, early on, I think it was in the second period, late second period, we were looking at it. The Leafs were up like 21-8 in shots, but like 6 of the saves Woll had made were like 10 bell, 5 alarm. Like, it was just nuts saves that he was making. Some massive moments, even more so than just like being highlight reel saves. They were big moment saves that could have easily flipped some momentum there. You know, you look at the power play goal that was scored. I don't think there's too much you can do on that one. It's cross ice, backdoor, one-timer stuff that is just a perfect shot, perfect pass. My only real pushback would just be the second period. I think the first 65% of the second period was the best second period that they've played this season. I think once the penalty trouble happened, both of which were by McCabe, which probably is just like a compounding issue, right? Like, your number one penalty kill guy is going to the box. You're not looking at the bench and being like, it's all good. Simone Benoit of last year, who was great at killing penalties, Brandon Carlo and Chris Tanev are coming out here. Like, you're looking at OEL and Stecher and Mermis and Riley being like, you got to fill that role. So you're losing the minutes from McCabe. You're not getting him out there for the PK. And then from there on to the end of the second period, it felt like it kind of started to slow. So that was for me where it was. And the only thing I would just kind of say is, like, you want them to figure out how to get it back on the rails, but I give them more so of a pass tonight than I would in other games because, as we've mentioned all night long, who the personnel was. We talked about all the guys that were missing. When you now look down the bench and you're like, well, Jacob Quillan, let's see what you can bring us energy-wise and get us back in this game. It's a little bit different of a feeling than looking at a third line with, like, McMahon, Domi, whoever else it is that you want to put there, Joshua, Waugh, and knowing these guys are some more mature veteran guys that you could probably ask to dig you out of the hole and get you back on pace. You're asking some guys who are figuring some things out. But, I mean, again, fair point, and I would agree with you, too, about Woll. I thought he was spectacular tonight. Anything else for you here, JD, tonight in this one?
I'll just wrap it with a couple final thoughts. So, 3 things to point out. Number one, Domi, dog shit. We got to do something about Domi. He's just, as you've all, everybody's seen and everybody, majority basically agrees. The guy's not a center. At best, he's a low-level winger, possibly even a high-level AHL winger. He just doesn't have the stuff. He doesn't fit the team. He doesn't fit the mold. It's like one guy playing a game in a team that is not playing with him. It's just it's pretty obvious it's not working. So I don't know what we're going to do about that, but they need to get him off that center position first and foremost.
I think he becomes a little bit more palatable. The only thing I'll say is, like, I think he's an NHL player, and I think the part of what you're saying is a little tongue-in-cheek about the AHL, but I think he's an NHL player. I just would say I 100% agree with you. He cannot play center. He gets real exposed in that situation. I thought he was better tonight, particularly because he brings a lot of energy, and I think when he's surrounded or playing, against guys that are like the caliber of what St. Louis was, it helps you out a little bit. But he's not a centerman. He can't play center. I think, again, to your point, he's got to be like your fourth line winger, a third line winger at best. He can't be in your top 6, and he definitely cannot be playing at center. I think once he goes there, it becomes a little bit easier to digest, But then, again, kind of like to flip back to the other side of it is, do you want your fourth line right winger making whatever it is, $3.5 million? Probably not. Like, you'd probably rather make $2.5 million, and that's $1 more million to go and spend on a middle 6 guy. So understand about the fit that wise. It does. The only thing that kind of gives me pause about fit and culture is, like, this is a guy who loves being a Toronto Maple Leaf, and that is something that I think people in Toronto have died for a little while. So, like, wrestle with that one a little bit myself, but I get where you're coming from, and a lot of Leafs Nation shares that opinion.
It's a tough one. Yeah, he's been super defensively irresponsible. I think, I don't know if it's more that he needs some one-on-one time to, with coaching and stuff like that, to turn him in the right direction, or if it's to do with team morale stuff. It's just everybody's a little bit lacking and underperforming. So the other thing as well, McCabe, I've been noticing a lot lately, a lot of bonehead bad defensive plays. Just his hockey IQ doesn't seem to be what it was last year whatsoever. He seems like a different guy. The dumb penalties, he's taken some dumb ones, but I got to say in this game, I got to slightly disagree. I don't think either of those penalties could have been a penalty. I mean, there's a strong case for neither of those penalties actually being a legit penalty, but that's debatable. But yeah, he hasn't been the same guy he was last year whatsoever, and it's just starting as the games progress. He's sticking out more and more to me as a. I'm sad to say, because I had high hopes for McCabe for sure. But
yeah.
But to end it on with a little bit of a positive, Stecher's first game, I got to say I was pretty impressed. I found he didn't look nervous. He looked comfortable. He looked like he slotted in there in the lower defensive pairing quite well. I didn't see him make a lot of bad bonehead plays. He seemed like he made, the smart, safe plays. He didn't overcomplicate the game.
Drew a penalty early. And because of my last point, I think he was moving his legs. I saw him pre-game in his interview, and he talked about being a player like that. He's like, I'm a small guy, but he has a swagger to him. He has a confidence, and he's like, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna do my fucking job. I'm going to move my legs, and I've got a good hockey IQ mind, and I think he proved he walked out there and he backed up what he said. Yeah, so I agree. Yeah, I'm with you, JD, on that. I thought he looked good. It's kind of funny. I saw a tweet and it made me laugh during this, and it was like the Leafs have struggled with their defensemen being able to move the puck, whether it was via their feet or actually passing the puck and advancing things up the ice, to the point where Troy Stecher was starting to look like Cale Makar, and I got a laugh out of that. But it's kind of refreshing when you look at the guys that they brought in here, because you lose a guy like Chris Tanev, who he's not like the most elegant, majestic player with the puck out there, but Chris Tanev is very capable of making a good first pass and getting the puck in transition up and out of play and turning things back around. He's not, again, as you said, like a guy that's going to blow you away with his ability to go up and down the ice or his offensive prowess, but he can turn the puck up the ice. Now you lose that guy who's playing you 20 to 24 minutes a night, 25 minutes a night. He's up in the press box. You're losing his defensive abilities. You're losing the leadership, the physicality. And the replacement that comes in is, pick your guy, but it's like Dakota Mermis, Phil Myers, Simone Benoit, who now have to play more. None of those guys can match what he does in any aspect of the game. Like, they're not just as good at one area and they lack the other ones. These guys are all lacking everything. And I think one of the major areas you start to feel as you lose some of these guys, and when your team was already lacking that ability to make a play from the defensive side of things, the thing you start to feel when you lose one of the few guys who kind of, and again, like, not to over-exaggerate what he could do, but just ability to move the puck is just there. You go to Myers, Benoit, and Mermis, and all of a sudden you're going, holy fuck. Like, nobody here can pass the puck, and all of a sudden Stecher comes in, and it's like, here's a guy who picks the puck up behind the net. He can wheel around with speed. He can get up ice. He can get the play out of the zone, and he can get things moving up in transition. And as you saw in the first period, as we just mentioned, draws a penalty. Like, it's not going to be perfect. He's not going to be a guy that we're going to be like, holy shit, he needs to be playing every night. There's probably going to be nights down the stretch here with 63 games left that we look and we go, or 62 games left that we look and we go, oof, tough one for Stecher. But that said, he's probably going to slot in as a 6-7. And when everyone comes back healthy and ready to go, if he's a guy who can provide you depth in that spot and give you a different element, I think he's a good addition to this team, JD.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. He's no Myers, and that's a good thing because I don't want to see that guy in a fucking uniform for the rest of. If I ever do, it'll be too soon. I mean, at least Stecher is a 500% improvement over him, and that's really saying something, man. So
True.
That's my thoughts for the
True. Fair. JD, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. I'm glad this time wasn't as dark as it was last time. We're on a more positive note here tonight. There were some negatives. There's a positive to close things out. I appreciate you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
Cheers, man. Go Leafs, go, buddies.
There you go. Go Leafs, go. Thanks to JD for calling into the show here. We've got one more caller. Before we get to that caller, I just got a quick couple of things, and I'm sure, if you know who this caller is, he'll be okay to wait because it's the finale. I've seen him sitting there patiently the entire time. A couple of super chats that I want to get to before, and one other thing that I want to do before we get to this last caller. But super chat here comes in from Cass RWR 8865. Thank you for the super chat. Again, proceeds from our super chats do go to Sick Kids Charity, so continue to get those super chats in. We appreciate any and all of them that you guys send in throughout the course of the show. We raised, I believe it was over $4,000 for Sick Kids Charity the last time that we had an update from them. So that's just amazing stuff, and that's you guys here in the chat who are doing that. That's you guys who continue to support here on the channel and support Sick Kids. So thank you very much. But this one comes in from Cass RWR 8865. I'm sorry if this sounds desperate and embarrassing, but could you please wish me a happy birthday? It's almost 11 p.m. and a lot of my friends and family forgot. Cass, happy birthday. I'm sorry that everyone forgot. Hopefully you're a Leafs fan and you can at least take some happiness in the fact that the Maple Leafs got a victory here tonight and snapped this losing streak. They could have just continued this and it gotten way uglier than it needed to. And the fact that the Leafs Nation 401 chat here tonight is jumping in and wishing you a happy birthday, as well as I see numerous other people in the Leafs Nation chat joining in on the party and wishing you a happy birthday. Another super chat here comes in from J-Roc. J-Roc says, Berube said Blay got hit and was coughing up blood. So, J-Roc, thank you for that update. I do see a text here as well saying that he was hobbling around in the back. That's why he left in the third period and didn't play much more as the game continued on, Sammy Blais was removed from that one. So that makes a lot more sense. I was kind of wondering why we didn't see him. I don't ever remember really an update during that game to suggest that something significant had happened, but I mean, hopefully he's all right. Another guy to the injured list is it's not funny, and you hope he's okay. It's just unbelievable, man. How in the flying fuck are we here right now talking about injury after injury after injury? This team is cursed. You want to know how cursed this franchise is? Just a quick side note. I watched Survivor. There was one Leafs fan on the show. For those who don't know, it's the one where they go to the tropical island and you go away and you don't have any elements. You can go with days without food and water and all that kind of stuff. I watched Survivor. There was one Leafs fan on the show. I haven't been watching for that long, but it's a few years or few seasons, sorry. But the one Leafs fan, he's this big jacked tattooed guy. He had to leave early because he got bit by a venomous snake. He didn't get voted out. He had to leave. If that's not the most Leafy thing of all time, I don't know what is. You look at these guys, and it's Matthew Knies leaves before the game tonight. You look at the laundry list of players with injuries. You look at guys who are leaving during games and can't come back, and there was a point where Jake McCabe runs into Joseph Woll when he makes that incredible save on Jordan Kyrou. I'm oh fuck, here we go. McCabe or Woll's going to be hurt. And then you watch the play where Morgan Riley runs into, I think it was Max Domi. He goes down. He's injured. It's like, oh my God. He ends up coming back to this game, but this is a cursed franchise. Cursed franchise. With that, let's get to our last caller of the night. Let's hear what we've got. From this guy, because I'm sure he's got a lot to say following this one. We're going to have to keep this short. We're not going to be able to go forever. He's getting his airtime every single game, so we'll go to him here now. Welcome to the show, Prague. Prague,
Thanks,
how you doing?
Good. Happy birthday to Cass. And,
happy birthday to Cass.
Yeah, just first and foremost, and I'm glad to see Vic, even though I don't agree with him very often. But anyways, he's a great guy. He sounds like a great guy. So.
He is. He's the best. He's the best.
So, and I appreciate you doing this after games. And first of all, I thought Marner was completely invisible.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha, Prague. Good one. Good one.
Second, I hate all the media always ganging up on Nylander. It pisses me the fuck off. Excuse my language.
You're good?
It just doesn't make any sense. Like, do you see him playing F3? Do you see him like he's trying to pass more just because he's trying to make up for it? And he's on 130 plus point pace, right? And so he makes mistakes. He's going to be Willie, but who would have been able to do what he did tonight? Score on both nets and not give a shit about scoring on his own net.
It's true.
Right? Who's the one who shows up in every playoff, even when he's injured, even when he. Like, if you've had a few days of food poisoning, how do you feel? Do you feel like you can play 60 in the NHL or even in the men's league or the beer league? No. So anyways, I just digress. And I'll be honest, I still have a very soft spot for Micelli because I've seen him play, and we need skill. One of the things that makes me pissed off is that we always get, too much skill. I'm sorry. What did we do? We traded every pick we have for nothing. Anyways, I thought tonight was fine, but
hold on. On the Micelli. I understand the need for skill, but I think Prague. This goes back to the problem where it's like skill without the other aspects to the game.
Did you go into the corners? He went in the corners. He went after the pucks. He went after
Does he win battles? Is he a guy that's going in there and making an impact on the forecheck? Is he a guy that's causing problems in front of the net? Like, it's not to say that he's doing nothing else or he's not trying stuff, but it's like the Nick Robertson phenomenon where from years past, where if he's not scoring goals and making plays, what else is he doing? Now Nick Robertson has seemed to find his way, but Matias Micelli, if he's not making plays, making passes, or I mean, the guy doesn't even fucking score. He scored a couple times, but if he's not making plays, if he's not assisting, right? Okay, but where are those goals here so far, Prague? Where are those goals so far? It's just like it feels like there's too much right now with Micelli that's just like not noticeable or going wrong with his game, rather than these moments that we were expecting where it's this strong, solid point production that's on a consistent basis. Like, that feels like it's missing.
Okay, so let me ask you, what you guys, everybody was telling me, even my friends were telling me we should need to trade Nick Robertson. I was telling them he needs actual time with good players, not camp, right? What is Berube shown in terms of his inability to coach is he switches the lines 1,000 times, right? I don't know who's going to play with who other than, well, tonight I had an idea that Willie's going to play with JT. But honestly, otherwise, I really don't know what the lines are because they're always in a blender.
They're also missing their first line left winger, their first centerman, their third centerman, and their fourth centerman.
That's only happened in the last week, right? And also, okay, Matthews, whatever, he may just become a high-end 2C from now on. He may not be the Matthews that we knew because he doesn't look interested. He looks scared. He looks like he's just saving himself for the Olympics. I say if he's injured that easily, shut him down until the Olympics and then shut him down after, because I'd rather have good picks. And here's the thing. I'd do this. I'd want to show off the people we can want to trade who are either on expiring contracts or people don't like long-term. We were going into the season, everybody was thinking Domi on the first line. Okay. McMahon, Matthews, when they're healthy, Domi. Keep the JT line and Willie line with Robertson, and then have Knies. He looks disinterested. He needs to be the digger and the guy because that gets him more involved. So I would put him on the third line with Waugh and Micelli. Micelli can pass. The other two guys are big. One's big for nothing, but whatever. And so and then figure out the rest. But like, I don't want Domi ever to be in a center ever again. He should not be. There's no reason he should be center today. Like, just find somebody else. I don't give a shit. Find somebody else. And also, why is Benoit, like, he has not, like, if you look at everything, yes, we were doing well last year, but Benoit was going worse and worse, except for the playoffs in a couple games. He's not a regular top 6D. Give the kids a chance. Quillan, I forgot that I watched him when he was playing in the Frozen Four with Quinnipiac against Knies' team.
Nice, Minnesota.
He was fast. Yeah. He was fast as AF. And can I swear? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can swear.
Okay, he was fast as fuck. He was good, right? So like, I'm all about that. I like how Troy Stecher played. I don't know why he only played 13 minutes. Benoit getting 21 minutes scares me. Like, honestly, Quillan was hitting. Of course, I love Cowan, but I still say he needs, when everybody's back, he should play like top line minutes in the AHL so he gets as many minutes as possible. But yeah.
Here's the first part. So the first part of this, where you're talking about Benoit on the minutes. Stecher, I'm just gonna go out, like, let's break this down from, you're talking about numbers wise. You can't say, okay, yeah, why is Benoit playing 21? Well, if Benoit's not playing 21, it's because you're giving Ekman-Larsson, Morgan Rielly, and Jake McCabe like 26, 27, 28 minutes that are just pushing up and up and up and up and up. You're going to give them the minutes, because Troy Stecher, I would say in the future, you're probably going to give him more, but he's kind of got to get acclimated to this a little bit. I think he's got to get some experience with these guys, with partners. He's got to get used to the system like that they're trying to develop here. So Berube doesn't know what he can and can't trust him to do quite yet. So that's kind of where I'd give the pushback on that. You're already looking at Rielly at 24 minutes, Ekman-Larsson at 24 minutes, McCabe at 21. Dakota Mermis, I would not play him more than 14 minutes that he already played. Like, if anything, I'm taking minutes away from him. I don't think he's been very good. Benoit is a guy that Berube has seemed to trust and probably feels like he can get back to what he was last year in some sense of it, like some fashion of the player that he was. Maybe he's trying to play his way through it or get him to play through it. And then I think some of it is you're also just limited in options. So that's kind of where I would look at from the standpoint of like a Benoit. And like you're saying, give guys more minutes. Like Quillan and Cowan, they play forward. They can't play defense. They can't play this guy's minutes.
No. I'm saying, okay, here's an idea. Yes, I understand Berube. Everybody has their guy who they love for no reason, even if they play like crap and they just can't see it because they're big and fast but can't do shit. I'm saying give him 2 extra minutes, take 2 minutes off Benoit. Didn't Mermis look much better with Stecher today? Did you notice Mermis doing anything horrific today? No. Right? Play as many right-handers as you can, but not Myers, so that you get more evenness. Because like, we still have right-handers. Like, there's so many players that we don't even try out, right? That we don't try out. How many players have we had in the last decade that were not second rounders since 2015, including 2015? Holmberg and Hildeby.
Okay.
We picked a lot until 2020. Since 21, we haven't picked anything. Now, have you heard the names Charles Alexis Legault or Joel Nystrom or Alexander Nikishin?
Yeah.
Well, Charles Legault is the 6'4" 5th rounder from 2 years ago, right? one of the for Carolina. He was playing against us until he got cut. He played. Carolina has been decimated in their defense. Has been decimated. Joel Nystrom, also right-hander, 5'11", faster than anybody we have on our team. Both of them are faster than anybody. Nikishin, third rounder. Oh, Nystrom was a 7th rounder. This is what you do. You develop. And they chose a lot of Russians so that they don't have to sign them forever until they want to, right? But that's why I'm looking at long term. Tanev is one injury away from saying, fuck it.
And so you want to tank this season, is what you're saying?
I'm not saying tank the season. We are tanked. What are we going to do? We're going to mosey in somehow on the season? Like, have you seen anything? We played 5 teams, including tonight.
No, I don't think so. I don't think this team is that great, Prague. I get it. I'm with you. It's just like, if you're gonna tank, if you're gonna say fuck it, we're tanking, like, you just gotta you gotta get rid of guys here now. Like, and they're just not going to do that.
No,
they're not going to be able to sell that to MLSE. And like, again, add to the point, I think this is a team that's good enough to make it to the playoffs. I know people push back, and I get it. I understand, and I understand the conversation we've just had over the. What do you mean ruin his career? He's the one who's going to want to play. It's not the Leafs that are going to force him back into it. He's the one who wants to play.
Of course you wouldn't know. I'm saying, think about it. How many more decades are we going to do this stupid shit? We've had bad asset management after bad asset management. Like, I was screaming and yelling at my friends that we should go to Jeff Gordon when he was kicked out of New York Rangers. Why? Because he had 3 months as Boston Bruins GM. Tell me what he did.
Yeah, I know. He traded for
he selected Kessel, Milan Lucic, Bergeron, and Marchand. One
that's
draft.
What I was, yeah.
So like, and then he's done in Montreal with Kent Hughes as the GM. He's shown what he can do. But anyways, that's a side point. Anyways, my only last point is they need to play the kids. I love Quillan, I love Cowan, but like, look at all these injuries. I personally think McCabe is playing poorly because he feels like the pressure, just like how St. Louis played in the first 25 minutes of this game. From 25 minutes on, I think we had 20 shots on net. Afterwards, we ended up with, 29?
Yeah, I think something like that.
So did we really – was this really – like, okay, it's fine. We beat a team that's just as bad as us in overtime. But, like, I'm happy. I'm happy, but, like, I don't see a future there. Like, what are we going to do next year? What are we going to do in the playoffs? We're just going to maybe make it to playoffs. Maybe we get to 16th and we win the lottery. We get the 6th overall pick. Whoops, goes to Boston. That is the leafiest thing to do. What did we do when we tried to get rid of Marleau? We said, top 10 protected. I said, I made $1,000 betting my friend $1. I bet him $1. I said, we're going to lose it, and they're going to get a great player in the top 13. They got Seth Jarvis.
I know. But I also do this as well, and that sucks too. I get it. But, like, some of these things, like, we're talking about a small stint that Jeff Gordon hit on these guys. I get it. You're talking about that, like, where he hit all those guys in one draft, and then what? Like, Jeff Gordon has not been this unbelievable GM throughout the remainder of his career. He's good. He gets jobs. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him. New York
Rangers, 2015 to 2021. He kept that team going. But the problem is they got pushed. Their owner wants them to play their players as soon as they're drafted.
But we're nitpicking some of the things. Like, we're talking about, like, Legault and Nikishin. Like, the Leafs aren't the only fucking team that missed those guys or didn't pick those guys. There are other teams and GMs and stuff that grabbed them.
You're missing the point. I'm saying because we don't not only play our own players, we also don't. We get rid of picks like it doesn't matter for older players who are often injured, from Foligno, who have like great reputations. When Tanev was picked, right? Sean Walker, 28-year-old. He's the first line right wing, right D on who? Carolina.
Yeah, but these are mistakes that happen along the way. I know we've hashed these things out though. Like
it happened last season. They signed. One was less than $3.25 million. The other one was like $5 million or whatever. But they are the number one right D on their team, even though they're not big. They're not like
who's that?
Matt Roy, Capitals.
Yeah.
Sean Walker.
Matt Roy is not the number one D on
right D. Right. I'm saying in terms of defensive play, in terms of yes, he's not the scorer. He's not John Carlson. But in terms of minutes, he generally gets like all the hardest minutes. He gets that and he gets it done. He hits people. So does Sean Walker. They're not big players. They're like, I think Sean Walker is like 5'11", maybe something like that. Okay. Same with, but the whole point
There's
is
one other point here though that you have to consider in this Prague that I think there's no guarantee that they wanted to come here. Like there's no guarantee that they wanted to come here as well. There's no guarantee that you had the money. And you know why you didn't have the money for a lot of that? This summer aside, this summer is a little different of a situation, is because you had all this money tied up in Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares, and to an extent, Morgan Riley, which were signed by What?
Last year we could have afforded him. This year we could have gotten Grzelcyk. $1 million. What is he doing? He's he's not great defensively. I don't give a shit. I want somebody who can pass the puck. I want puck movers. He was $1 million. He's on Chicago. He plays almost every game now.
He was picked up on a PTO.
Yes, but he was 40 points last year on a team that said, okay, well, he's not that great defensively. I don't give a shit. We need puck movers. Riley, like tonight was the first time I didn't notice a massive gaffe from Riley, but we're playing the Blues, who are scared, just as scared as the Leafs.
So what are you doing then? What are you doing? Are you getting these players or are you tanking?
No. I'm not saying we trade for them now. I'm saying these are lost opportunities. We could have spent $2-3 million.
Yeah, lost opportunities was also trading Nazem Kadri for Tyson Barrie and Kerfoot, and trading Mason Marchment for Dennis Malgin, and letting Jared McCann be unprotected so that you could keep Alex Kerfoot and Justin Hall, and trading Patrick Marleau for the.
You know how many people hated that?
Like, there's so many of these things that were lost opportunities, that were missed opportunities. The only thing we can do here now, Prague, is be in the moment. We can't look and say, I would have wanted to sign this player. Like it's too far. It's done. It's over with. That's it.
Okay, but okay. Well, let's talk about what's happened now. Our top 8 players, only one Brad is signed. Can you name him? He's probably our best defenseman this year.
Who? Tanev? He signed Tanev?
No, OEL. Like in terms of. Like,
but he Tanev, also signed. He signed Tanev. He signed Tanev, OEL.
Those are the two that there's actually they're both. So top 9. There's 2 people he signed. OEL and Tanev. But the rest were already here. Everybody else are just whatever, right? So what I'm saying is place players in positions where if our season goes horrible, I want our season to go well. I want us to do well. However, Matthews needs to be able to pull a line by himself. If he can't, we're fucked either way, long term. So put like McMahon and Domi on his wings. They're both fast. McMahon is defensively responsible. Matthews is defensively responsible. Who can pass a puck? Domi. Show them off. Maybe somebody will take them. If they don't, they don't. Put Knies.
So you want to show these guys off just to get value to trade them. This is the plan.
No. This is the backup plan. I think. Here's the thing. Think about it, McMahon.
Wait, so what's the plan, Prague? Because you said this team's not good enough, and you don't want to waste the time and keep making the mistakes, but then shipping them off is the backup plan?
I'm saying put them in places to succeed. Uh-huh. If Matthews can't pull a line of his own, we don't have a future with him. We will not win with him because he needs to be able, right now, this season, he has to be, what is wrong with him? He took a hit, got hit. Neither was particularly bad, right? Did he look interested in earlier this season? He didn't look. He looked crap. He looked disinterested. He looked like a passenger. He was the third best
I
player.
think his ability and his like his body and how he moved and everything and his shot looked way better. He just, disinterested is a different thing though. But yeah, I get it. Yeah.
If he's disinterested, then we're screwed either way, right?
Yeah. Because if Stolarz can't stop pucks, we're screwed. If Joseph Woll can't stop pucks, we're screwed. Like I understand what you're saying, but like there are other key pieces here that falter at different times that we're looking at. That it's like, okay, yeah, if that doesn't work, then you're screwed. I get it. Like,
but okay, one last thing is just that I don't want. One of the key things I think happened with Stolarz, yes, that when he said it out loud, what was going on, it may have affected him, but he may have gotten injured on that hit anyways, against when what's his face Marchment jumped him accidentally on purpose. But you can't play players like goalies who are not used to playing 10 games in a row. Play them 2 games, 1 game off. 2 games, 1 game off. Same with Woll. I know he looks fantastic,
but you didn't have that luxury. You don't have that luxury.
I don't want them injured. Who has okay? Does Woll have an injury history? Does Stolarz have an injury history? Does he have
but who are you going to play?
For 1 game every 3 games until Stolarz comes back?
That's a lot of games when you can't defend right now. And then you're just going to get the guy in there who's going to get lit up.
What did we do with Hildeby in that anyways?
You're not playing but you're not playing the guy 60 games. You're trying to get through until the other guy comes back.
That's the point. I'm saying I don't want Woll to get injured. So you play 2 games with Woll in net and 1 game with Hildeby. Then 2 games with Woll, 1 game with Hildeby. Stolarz should be back in a couple weeks, maybe, who knows, a week, God knows when. But like, I personally think all these IR people are just like feeling bad, or I don't think they're actually, most of them I don't think they're injured. Like, well, what injury did Wog get? Like, everybody plays injured in hockey, but I think they're just giving up on the coach and the team. The coach, I think. Because like, Wog got injured from what play? Show me the play.
How would you know? How would you know?
They all play injured, man. They always.
You don't have to see the play to know that whether the guy to be injured or not. It's like we can't identify the exact injury that Matthews suffered. You know that it was in something against Zadorov, right. But like, we don't know. Prague with that. We gotta wrap it up. Thanks for calling in. All right, you too. Thanks for calling in. Cheers. There you go. There's Prague, the legend. I don't even know how we got there. We're talking about these guys aren't even injured anymore. They're not even injured. We got Nikishin and Legault, and they could have had those guys. There's a lot that was taking place here on the postgame show. With that, let's wrap this thing up with a few final segments. First and foremost, thanks to our sponsor at Uber Eats. Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. I see the chat responding to that one. Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app, from game day eats to paper plates and napkins. If you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip every time the Leafs are playing at home. You can get these exclusive deals in Toronto only on Uber Eats. Firehouse Subs, Bogo Brisket Hat Trick, Kibo Sushi, Bogo California Roll, Shelby Shawarma, Bogo Traditional Wrap. Bogo is buy one, get one before, during, and after the game. Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. The stats of the day that I'm taking a look at here, we broke them down all night, and I want to kind of dig back through the allotment of ice time in this one. And it was made a lot of the new guys who were jumping up into this lineup tonight, the new guys who were getting opportunities. Troy Stecher, 13 and a half minutes. I think part of that, again, is Berube just trying to balance out here what he can and can't do, where he is and isn't going to be able to trust him, what scenarios he wants him to play in. You know what you have in guys, whether or not you agree that they've been playing well, but what you have in guys like Benoit, Ekman-Larsson, McCabe, Morgan Rielly right now. So when you look at those kinds of guys in your lineup, you're probably going to get more minutes, that is, out of them than a guy like Troy Stecher right now, who's working his way into the group. He's practiced once with these guys. He got one morning skate. He had 2 days of video with the team. Like, it's not like Troy Stecher has been here for a week and he's still getting this many less minutes than the rest of the guys. I thought he was effective in his time on ice, but let's also remember here, you look at Benoit and you talk about how many minutes he got in this game. He played 4.5 minutes of shorthanded ice time. Troy Stecher's not just going to get to go in and take that time from Simon Benoit right now. Whether you as a fan want him to or not, it makes sense why Berube is still going to play him in those situations. So that time is going to go from Stecher at 5-on-5 to Simon Benoit on the penalty kill. 4.5 minutes for him. 1:33 for Jake McCabe of penalty kill. Obviously, as we mentioned, McCabe, 2 penalties here tonight. Ekman-Larsson, 3.5 minutes, or 3 minutes and 10 seconds, of shorthanded ice time. There was also numerous power plays for the Maple Leafs. 2 minutes of power play time went to Ekman-Larsson in this one. 3 minutes and 59 seconds went to Morgan Rielly. So as Prague was bringing up, you got to give Troy Stecher more minutes. It's not like Berube's just looking at this lineup and being like, Stecher, get this guy out of here. We don't want to play him. He's not here to play. He's not here right away to take away those minutes from other guys that know the systems and know what's going on. As we get through the next couple of days, maybe into Thursday, Troy Stecher gets some more opportunities. Maybe by Saturday, he's playing penalty kill. Like, maybe that stuff works its way up, and then you can let him kind of roll into it a little bit more comfortably, but there's no point of feeding the guy to the Wolves here tonight in this one and making him play those situations. The other ones that I want to point out, Sammy Blais, Berube did confirm coughing up blood. That's why he leaves this game here tonight. And then the other thing to note, Jacob Quillan, who I thought looked really good, really effective in his time. There was a lot of power play and penalty kill stuff, so that's going to take minutes away from guys naturally. You look at some of the other guys here, Dakota Joshua, Steven Lorentz, they're guys who are going to play on your penalty kill time. Cal Yarncroke plays penalty kill time. Cal Yarncroke also somehow playing power play. That's probably something he could have taken away from him, but there was a lot of special teams in this game tonight, a lot of flow taken away, a lot of 5v5 taken away from some of these guys, and then when that happens, when you lose that 5-on-5 time, when you get back to 5-on-5, the guy that you are throwing back out there to get back in the rhythm, it's typically not going to be your third and fourth liners to be like, hey, get going, go play 5-on-5 minutes for us. Like, you want to be able to continue to roll momentum of things, or after a penalty kill, throw out Nylander and Tavares so that they can go play 5-on-5 after the fact. It's not looking down the bench and saying, hey, Jacob Quillan, it's now your time. I think in a game where maybe there's less special teams one way or another, Quillan might get some more opportunity. He might get some more ice, but in the 9 minutes he played, I thought he looked great. The other one I want to point out, time on ice for Easton Cowan, 16 minutes and 33 seconds. He finished with 2 shots on goal. I thought he looked great here tonight. Again, yeah, some mistakes, some stuff he's going to look at and say, hey, I could fix that. But for what he is and, 20 games into this season, not 20 games into his career here yet, because I don't think he's hit that mark. He's looked good. He's looking way more mature. He's looking way more comfortable. So Easton Cowan's a guy that I look to continue to get more opportunities and more minutes here with these guys. Let's get to our next segment here. Our best bet is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION, that's NATION, code NATION, NATION at Bet365. You must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Best bets in this one. We had 2. It's going to kind of drive me nuts. I talk about process a lot. And last game, I had Easton Cowan anytime goal. That was against, or 2 games, last game, against Chicago. I thought he had plenty of opportunities. I thought he had some grade A chances. You look at the breakaway, you look at the lone opportunity in the slot late in the third period that he had. Outside of that, I think he hit 2 posts. He missed the net just barely on one of the chances that he had. So we were all over that. I felt good about it. Again, I say, you know what? You're missing Knies. You're going to elevate some people. You're going to have guys who are going to play some positions and take on some opportunities, and he's playing on that first power play. You're hoping that Easton Cowan can maybe, slot into that and benefit from some of the offensive opportunities that are going to come up for him. Again, looks really good. Only finishes this game here tonight. Cowan finishes this one with 2 shots on goal, as you mentioned. But dangerous chances, doesn't cash. We lose that one. That's $50 down, so we're up to $130 of profit on the season, 10-19 record, 10% ROI. The other one that we had here tonight was William Nylander, over 3.5 shots on goal. And this guy, if the Leafs didn't shut it down from late second period all the way through the third period, I think we've got it. They were rolling. They were creating chances. They were getting opportunities. They were getting shots on net. I thought Nylander was looking pretty good offensively, looking pretty dangerous. Finishes with 3 shots on goal, which means another loss. That's another half unit, $50 loss here tonight. On the best bets, so we have now lost a record 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive best bets lost. We are up 0.8 units, which would be $80 profit on the season and a 6% ROI. We get it back on Thursday. We battle back on Thursday. Thank you to, one more thing here quickly before we wrap up. Let's get to our grade of the game. Send your grade of the game in the chat. My play of the game is easy. It's the JT Nylander OT winner. That play by JT, to battle in the corner like that, go 1-on-3. Late in the game, he's played so many minutes over the last couple of days. It's probably not sustainable for someone at his age and with, the lack of speed that he has, but the motor, the motivation, the push, the desire to win, JT battling in the corner, making that play to Morgan Rielly, who passes it out to William Nylander. Beautiful play by him. And then Willie Styles with just an unbelievable finish. So that's my play of the game. But my grade, I think my grade tonight, I'm going to be a little more lenient on these guys given what you were missing. I think I'm going to go with the B. It's just a B. It's a passing grade. If you take all things considered, who was missing, who played, it's a B. You look at Joseph Woll, .931 save percentage. I thought Easton Cowan looked really good. I thought Quillan looked good. You lost another guy to injury in Sammy Blais here in this one. Nylander was a weird one, the stupidest play of all time, batting that puck out of the air into his own net, and then scores the OT winner to close that thing out on a beautiful play. Silky mitts by him to finish it. Weird game, missing a lot of guys, a lot of injuries, but guys stepped up, and I thought you got through this one. Special teams, not the best. Second period to third period, not the best. But 0 for 3 power play, 2 for 3 on the penalty kill. Could be better. You won the game. I don't know. You got through it. That's all for me here tonight on the postgame show. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube. I will be back tomorrow on Leafs Morning Take at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Myself, Jay Rosehill, breaking down tonight's game again. I just cannot stop talking Leafs. We're doing these post-game shows for 2 hours a night. We are in dark places. We're digging out of holes. We are all over the place. And yet, I just can't stop talking Leafs. I'm back tomorrow, 11 a.m., Leafs Morning Take. Look forward to seeing everybody here, right here on this channel. Subscribe, like, comment, Follow us on all podcasting platforms. Thank you all for watching here. Look forward to seeing everyone in the chat tomorrow morning. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything.